Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video we'll be covering the fact that seeing a legendary drop just hasn't felt great for a long time. I can't remember what it used to feel like with Lost Touch, and that's a problem. Cue the sad music. Seeing this many legendaries drop isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's more about the time you spend farming and the reward for your time. This is a pretty important topic, it's kind of the essence of Borderlands, so dropping a comment about how you feel about legendary drop rates and how they have affected both Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands is really important for the future of the series. I'll be discussing how it came to this and what could be done to get that legendary feeling back. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, feel free to subscribe if you'd like to, or you could even follow me on Twitter, and let's crack into it. If you're coming from Borderlands 1, 2, or the pre-sequel into the new age of Borderlands 3 or Wonderlands, it's pretty evident that something has happened to legendary drop rates. It's clear to see they've gotten a lot better, and that's a good thing, but in the end game when you're so used to seeing orange, the color doesn't matter anymore, and the magic, that feeling, quickly fades away. Finding a legendary weapon doesn't have the same effect that it used to. It's been almost 3 years, and farming for legendaries has taken a dramatic turn. Comparing legendary drop rates in the current games to the older Borderlands games isn't where to look for a healthy farming cycle for the most part, but it does set a good marker for what it meant to find a legendary, something that is lost on the latest installments of the series. In the earlier games, legendaries were rare, so much so that you could farm a boss for hours and not see a single one. When you did get one, it felt great. You got a sense of pride and accomplishment, which really is all anyone dreams of. Borderlands 3 has the healthiest farming cycle of all the games, outside of the heavyweight Harkadome they call Arms Race, or should I say Farms Base. Yeah, that one was bad. Every other legendary has a dedicated source with a drop rate largely between 10 and 15%, which is great, and definitely should continue in Borderlands 4 at launch. Seriously, setting up a healthy farming system on release shouldn't be that hard. In Borderlands 3, dedicated drop rates are perfectly fine, however it's the world drops, the ones that RNGesus blesses us with, that detract from the legendary aura. It wasn't always like how it is now, at least for Borderlands 3. Legendaries used to be relatively rare, like they were in Borderlands 2. Dedicated farming got a massive overhaul, but as the reliance on Anointments grew, so did the legendary drop rates. At one point they were even higher. Prior to the introduction of the reroll machine, legendaries could be found in abundance, no matter where you went or who you killed. Grave Ward, who currently drops around 2 to 3 per kill, was dropping more like 4 to 5. It was ridiculous, but that's what was required because anointments were locked, and you needed high drop rates if you were ever going to find the right one. Add the Shaluta to the mix now and you're pretty much in the same boat, sailing the same river, with a pile of orange gold at the end of it. It's beyond ridiculous, but that's what legendary drop rates have turned into. Anointments or enchantments are the reason getting a legendary doesn't feel special anymore. We're no longer hunting a weapon, we're hunting a weapon with the right anointment, and that wipes away the feeling you get when you see one, because no longer is simply getting a legendary your goal. We were always hunting for parts, and the part number has grown too, but we're now looking for bonus effects on top of that perfect roll, which is adding to the grind, and honestly I'm worried about where it's heading. Wonderlands for me is the most grindy Borderlands game we have, and it's not just enchantments, but hunting rings, amulets and armor with the right passives for the right class takes some serious dedication. You can stuff those bunnies full of shiny crystals until they explode, and you still might not get what you want. Farming is a staple in these types of games, but everyone should have a fair chance at getting what they need in a reasonable amount of time. We're always going to be hunting for god rolls, and that's a good thing. Jolt's got his Sham, Killer 6 got his Anarchy, and the quest continues for more god roll gear as it should, but the worst roll and the god roll can't be too far apart in terms of effectiveness, and Gearbox have done a great job at that when it comes to weaponry. I can spend 15 minutes and get the gun I'm after, or I can spend an hour and get a better version of the same gun, which is how it should be. However, passive rolls on support gear in the Wonderlands particularly is almost spelling danger. It currently spells dang, and there's even a case for passives to go completely. The amount of world drop legendaries we see is a direct consequence of Anointments that was highlighted through the reroll machine update to Borderlands 3, which made getting the right anointment easier but reduced world drop rates at the same time. The problem with Anointments in Borderlands 3, and to a lesser extent but still a problem in Wonderlands, is the massive effect they have on how you play. Your build gets so much better with them, and if they're going to exist without a better way to get the one you want, seeing a legendary drop will feel just as stale as it does now in the current endgame. If legendaries are going to be kept like they are, then we need something else to fill that void, and the perfect thing for that is for Pearlescence to make a return. The ultra rare ornaments from Borderlands 1 and 2, even though they kinda sucked really badly. I mean, getting one of them was like pulling a holofoiled Blue Eyes White Dragon out of a booster pack. You were the coolest kid in school. Gearbox have said they couldn't do that in Borderlands 3 because the game wasn't designed for it, which I get, but I think something along the lines of Pearlescence is definitely what we need in Borderlands 4, end of story. I do get why Gearbox went the anointment and enchantment route. They add to the game, they allow you to do more, build better, and add to the grind. Personally though, I would have liked to see a modular approach to them, turn them into weapon parts for instance, and allow us to attach and detach them to our gear. That way a legendary can still be rare and feel good when you get one, and you can have this part dropped separately which gives you the same feeling. Combine them both together and you have the same depth we're used to without taking away what it means to have a legendary drop. That's my ideal preference for Borderlands 4 on top of Pearlescence, but I'm sure Gearbox can come up with something a lot better. A legendary drop should feel like a legendary drop, and when you're running the endgame of Borderlands 3 or Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, they just don't. And do let me know what you think of the current legendary drop rates and what can be done to get that magic back. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and we can get to talking about what it means to find a legendary. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.